When I lived in Baja, Mexico, I used to hear Americans complain, half jokingly, half exasperated, about what they called Mexican time. They'd say things like, the party starts at 6, but that just means people might be starting to show up at around 8 or 9. Or, the plumber said he'd be here at noon, but, it's Mexican time, so that means that anywhere between the vague realm of midday. Whatever that means. And then there's the word mañana, which Americans believe means tomorrow, but in actuality, it means more like not today. Not necessarily never, but certainly not now. At first, this drove me a little nuts, because I grew up in a culture where being 5 minutes late was practically a character flaw. Schedules, deadlines, alarm clocks, all of it. But over time, I came to understand something deeper. Mexican culture has a different relationship with time. It's less rigid, more fluid. There's an implicit trust in the unfolding of things, a kind of cultural comfort with uncertainty. There's a saying in Spanish, más vale la pregunta que la respuesta. The question is more valuable than the answer. That one stuck with me, because once you start letting go of the obsession with precision, you begin to notice something. There's a kind of grace in not knowing, in showing up for the moment without needing to pin it down, in trusting the question even if the answer never comes. Have you ever seen the movie Arrival with Amy Adams and Jeremy Renner? If you haven't, I highly recommend it. Spoiler alert, though. It's a hauntingly beautiful film about first contact with an alien species that experiences time non-linearly. They're called the heptapods, and they don't see time as a line like we do. For them, it's more like a circle. They know the future. They know how things begin and how they end, all of it. But here's the twist. Even though they see the future, they can't change it. They're locked into a kind of deterministic paralysis. They know what's coming, but they can't do anything differently, which might be why they came to us in the first place. Because as humans, we are blissfully ignorant of the future. We don't know how it all ends, and because of that, we make choices. We try. We fail. We guess. We risk. We hope. And maybe that uncertainty, the very thing that drives us crazy, is actually our superpower. Like in the movie, maybe in 3,000 years, they say the heptapods will face something that they can't change. But maybe we can. Not because we're more advanced, but because we're used to living without guarantees. We're fluent in chaos. We speak maybe. And like in the movie, Louise, played by Amy Adams, learns the heptapod's language. And in doing so, she begins to see her entire life all at once. The joys, the heartbreak, the death of her daughter. She knows it's coming, and she chooses it anyway. That's the paradox. Knowing doesn't free her, but it does awaken her. And maybe that's the point. Maybe free will isn't about changing the future. It's about aligning with it consciously, about choosing it even when we know the outcome, about saying yes, not because we don't know what's coming, but because we do, and we still believe it's worth it. So here's my question. Remember, the question is worth more than the answer, right? What if the next step in human evolution isn't knowing more or controlling more or becoming more efficient with time or technology, but learning how to embrace the unknown, to make meaning out of uncertainty, to live inside the question, even if the answer is already written. Maybe that's what the heptapods came for in Arrival. Not our weapons, not our tech, but our ability to act without knowing, to love without a guarantee, to risk even when the odds are terrible. Because in a universe that already knows the ending, maybe it's the act of asking that gives the story its shape.